again, everybody. It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. The episode of The Celebrity Jungle. Dima, YouTube music. You ever get up in the morning and you want to start your day? You want to have a positive day, but whatever the reason is, things just fall apart. You go outside and your car won't start, so you're late for work. You're driving to work and a bird, takes a crap on your window. You get outside and you fall down on your way into the office, messing up your nice white shirt or blouse. It then becomes a terrible day because you now owe $1,000 on another bill you didn't expect. You don't have the money and things just can't get any worse. That's kind of how Tiffany Henyard's life is right now. Everything that can go wrong is going to go wrong. Like last week when Andrew Holmes officially got exposed for this.
Andrew Holmes has been a familiar face in Chicago for years, well known for his work as a community activist helping crime victims and police. But now Holmes is being accused of a crime himself, sexual assault, in a civil lawsuit filed by a former employee of the village of Dolton and a Dolton police officer.
And then Keith Freeman got exposed for this.
The indictment alleges that Freeman made several false statements and omissions in the bankruptcy petition filed in January. It says he knowingly underreported income he derived from his employment, as well as fees he received from his private consulting business. Freeman has not been arraigned, and the village declined to comment.
Yep, it was all bad. We'll stop the show. Looks like the Popos was somewhere around, and they've been lurking. The police, the FBI, the SWAT team, gunshots! They wanted to know where Tiffany Henyard and them was at. But we were warned about this. Rewind! Lawrence Gardner, a business owner in Dolton, said that this happened a few weeks ago.
Did the FBI agents you talked to seem serious about
very serious.
your concerns?
Very, very serious. Very.
Lawrence Gardner owns a U-Haul rental and trucking business in South Suburban Dolton and says he went to the FBI several months ago, frustrated that the village of Dolton would not renew his business license. Gardner says he's been harassed and his business raided and shut down by Dolton police. He believes because he refused to make a donation to a civic event sponsored by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
And I talked to a couple of agents and I explained them what was going on. I gave them all my paperwork to show them what was happening in court and what was happening in Dolton. And they told me they was investigating and they would be in touch with me.
That's right, he hinted that the FBI had come and paid him a visit. And the people did or did not believe him. But that didn't stop Tiffany Henyard from acting arrogant, doing things like this.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work.
Give her a round of applause. I mean, at least she's true to this, not new to this. But stop the show. Then this happened.
And we are following breaking news out of Dolton, the FBI serving subpoenas. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
I'm Scott Schneider. We want to start with breaking news tonight. The FBI, as Dawn just mentioned, serving subpoenas in Dolton.
Let's get right to Elizabeth Matthews at the Village Hall, where 4 agents were this afternoon. Elizabeth.
Scott and Don, it is all quiet now, but here's what Fox 32 has learned. We've learned that those 4 federal agents paid a visit here at the Dolton Village Hall around 2:40 this afternoon. They were serving, like you mentioned, 2 subpoenas. Take a look at some of this amateur video that was sent in to our news station by a Fox 32 viewer. It appears to show a couple of those federal agents inside Village Hall. Here's what we know so far. One subpoena apparently focuses on employment and disciplinary records of 15 Village of Dolton employees, including 3 police officers and Keith Freeman, a senior administrator recently charged with bankruptcy fraud. The other subpoena, number 2, focuses on Freeman and any potential involvement with certain companies and whether or not they received any money, business, or contracts relating to the village. This, of course, comes as Fox 32 has reported on numerous investigations surrounding embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Again, 2 subpoenas were served here at the Village Hall here in Dolton around 2:40 this afternoon. We expect to have much more on this developing story coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. For now, live in Dolton, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Looks like the FBI is there, and they're looking for a lot of information on what's going on in the city. But what could they be looking for? Well, let's let Ms. Jason House tell you.
Good evening, residents. Unfortunately, the Dolton trustees had to adjourn this meeting abruptly. And the reason for that is we've been repeatedly asking for information that's been documented time and again about credit card statements. We haven't received credit card statements in 6 months. We haven't gotten the electronic warrant list, but yet we're supposed to vote on it. We haven't gotten factual information about the tax increase. This is a tax increase for the residents, and we're fighting to get information about that with no discussion and no input from the residents. So unfortunately tonight we had to adjourn the meeting early. We will be hosting a special board meeting tomorrow at 6:30 at Dolton Park District, 14700 Evers. We hope to see you there. Please come with your questions. We look forward to answering everything in a dignified manner. Thank you.
That's right, guys. As you've heard, trying to get access to the financial records and things like that in the city have been very difficult for the trustees and people. And also denying people in the state of Illinois, even though it's a state issue, also denying people the opportunity to get business licenses is also bad because, well, when you do that because they don't like you, you're also stopping the federal government from getting their taxes. This is why the FBI most likely is getting involved. And this is what a lot of the business owners have been complaining about. She's been shutting down bars. She's been shutting down clubs, all of which because, well, these people are not loyal to her. But what have we seen from people who are being loyal to her? Well, those people are lawbreakers. For an example, let's look at the case of what's going on allegedly going on with Andrew Holmes. Andrew Holmes is supposed to be a person who's about the community, a person who's respected in the community. But there are a few things wrong in the Andrew Holmes situation. First of all, Andrew Holmes doesn't even live in Dolton. Andrew Holmes lives in Chicago. He shouldn't be there. But Andrew Holmes is going on a trip with Tiffany Henyard on taxpayers' money outside of the jurisdiction of Illinois, which would mean, yes, that would mean that it's now a federal situation because now you're going on to trips like to Atlanta, you're going to trips like to Las Vegas, you're going to trips to like Selma, Alabama. So now you're outside of Illinois' jurisdiction and you're taking people's money away from Illinois to do these things, which looks like corruption. Also, the fact that you're spending money on a charity called Tiffany Cares, but you said that's not your charity, but it is your charity. I won't even go into playing clips like that because we've already seen them like millions of times. But these are things that they're going to be looking at: mismanagement of funds, let's say bullying people, mismanaging your staff, all of those things that are going on in the city of Dolton that you would expect that you could find in a third world country. Now, let me just tell you this. I do live on the continent of Africa. And when I hear the story of Dolton, it sounds very similar to things that have happened on the continent of Africa. Dictatorship and one-party states. That's something that I would expect in third world countries, be it South America, Asia, or even on the continent of Africa. And I study those things a lot. But you don't expect such situations to happen in America, but you will find it in Black America. And the reason why is because it's entitlement. I want to tell you something that hurts my heart. But unfortunately, a lot of Black politicians and Black leaders, this could be either a nonprofit, it could be influencers, it could be politicians. They feel that they don't need to do anything nice for the African American community. They feel that them being there is something that God has ordained. And because they are the leader, they have the access to everything. And it includes your money and your time. You are only there to serve them. She isn't the first politician that we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it even with people like Fannie Willis. We've seen it with people like Natalie Hall. And this is what they believe. Like, hey, I'm here. You're there. You're Black. My constituents are Black. And so that entitlement even follows Tiffany Henyard over to Thornton Township, where it tends to be more multicultural and diverse. So this is where you see it. And unfortunately, as Blacks, we tend to accept a low quality of execution from our leaders. We accept it from our pastors, we accept it from our politicians, and then we have the unmitigated gall to get upset when people like Tiffany Henyard come out and they do the things that they do, when the real problem is accepting that in the first place. if our standards as a community were more higher, then the people that we would elect would most likely do the same things, but they don't. Look at what's going on with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. He ran on a ticket that was quote unquote progressive, and that was really Black Chicago favored, at least we thought. And then Black Chicago got tricked, thinking that, you know what, he's a brother, he got a black wife, he's a black man from the west side of Chicago, everything's gonna work out fine, until it didn't. So we gotta learn what our issues are, we gotta learn why people should serve us, and we gotta let people know that when they're in the government, they are not gods, they work for the people. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shirley Jackson, back at it again with another episode of Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all. You just heard the bell. We're out.